Hello guys, and welcome to the second installment of a series called Vulcan's Jet Tutorials. For those of you who don't know me, I am the pilot for the codename Stunt Runs, and today I'm going to be sharing with you tips on how to fly better in Battlefield 3. Today's episode will be covering losing enemies using both maneuvers and perks provided in Battlefield 3, continuing from the last tutorial. If you have not had a chance to see the last tutorial, there will be a link on screen which will direct you to the video. I will be covering a few points that may have been mentioned in other videos, but I will try and make them as clear as possible and make sure that you get the most out of them. Now let's move on to the tutorial. There are many ways to lose your enemies in Battlefield 3, and even though I won't be going into specific dogfighting strategies, these tips are the bread and butter from either escaping a dogfight or gaining the advantage. The first tip, which may seem trivial and sometimes not useful at all, is learning how to fly very low to the ground. Many dogfighters would argue that this is not a viable strategy for the fact that if a pilot stays above you, they will always have the advantage. However, I'm suggesting this technique for when you can identify that a plane is very close to yours. They will have no choice other than to follow you if they want to shoot you down. Therefore, moving over the ground in an agile manner can often make life difficult for the pilot behind, causing them to either crash or have to pull away due to the lack of confidence or having no faith in your own ability to fly. Furthermore, if you experience trouble with ground AA, this is a good way to counter both air and ground threats at the same time, making you a very hard target to lock due to the low radar perk. A good way to practice flying low is on unranked servers. Trying things like stunting will also help you understand the precision needed flying so low to the ground. Also, if you're feeling lucky, stunting in a live game may also save your plane from being hit by a launched missile. However, I would not recommend this to anyone other than expert pilots. The second tip is making good use of the AFTERBURNER. Where a lot of dogfights can turn into carousels in which you fly in circles for half the length of an entire game because neither pilot can outturn the other, you need a way to escape and then come back with the possibility of ambushing your enemy. A good way to do this is when you get a lower altitude than your enemy, afterburn away in a single direction, preferably toward your base, and before the enemy knows what you've done, you'll be too far away to be accurately shot. In a public game where base is covered by either static or mobile AA, enemy planes are unlikely to follow you, giving you time to compose yourself and re-enter into enemy airspace with the possibility of catching the enemy off guard. There aren't many ways to practice this technique, and timing is pivotal, so the only way to get the hang of it is try it in public matches. The trouble is, doing this while the enemy aircraft has sight of you will likely cause you to be shot down, as they will notice what you are doing and be able to stay close enough to get a shot. A good way to avoid this is by taking the ECM. The ECM is the third thing I wanted to mention. It is probably one of the most useful tools for losing an enemy plane in a dogfight. Many people still don't realise that the use of an ECM will cause the enemy's radar to not show where you are for the period that the ECM is active, as well as releasing other lock-ons. Using this in a revolving dogfight will mean that the enemy will have no idea where you are until they visually confirm, giving you a good chance to either make your escape as discussed before, or outmaneuver your enemy by change of direction. However, there can be a big trouble with using the ECM for dogfighting, as in a public match it can often leave you exposed to ground missile AA, which can take advantage after you've released the ECM. If you are flying away from the dogfight, this may not be a problem, but staying in a dogfight possibly over the enemy territory using this technique may cause unwelcome missiles, especially with the latest range buff to the AA vehicles. A fourth and final tip for today's tutorial is the simple ability to outturn your enemy using a diagonal turning discussed in the last tutorial. Where this doesn't work, however, and the other pilot may have mastered specific dogfighting strategies or the pure ability to tap S better than you, the tips already discussed may work out better. Anyway, I hope you, the viewer, have learned a lot from this tutorial. Please feel free to leave a like and even subscribe for more tutorials like this in the future. That leaves me to say thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.